So Andrew Wiggins has returned to the Golden State Warriors after being out for about 2 months for family issues. Was it 2 months? 2 weeks? 2 months, about damn near 2 months for being out for family issues. Let me first start by saying I don't care what happened. It's none of my business. I hope everything is well with Andrew Wiggins. I hope everything is well with his family. I'm not here speculating what happened. I'm not here trying to figure out what happened. It's none of my business. I just hope the best for Andrew Wiggins and his family, whatever they're going through. I know that there's a nasty rumor going around about what happened, and if that is true, I hope that you deal with it accordingly. If it's not, I don't understand why somebody would spread that. It's kind of crazy, but I'm not here to dispel or to confirm anything. I'm just saying I hope everything is okay with Andrew Wiggins. But let me get to the basketball aspect of this. One thing that we know, it's very apparent. We've seen this the last 2 months, and it's very apparent that Golden State has absolutely no shot of winning a championship without Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is their most versatile defender. You saw that last year. There were times where he would guard John Morant. There was times where he was the primary guard or primary defender on Luka Doncic, and he was the primary defender on Jason Tatum. So there is no shot. There is no way they're not. Andrew Wiggins presents something that nobody else on the team does, and that is his 3-and-D, his ability to defend, his ability to. Kuminga is kind of similar to Andrew Wiggins as far as body type, his ability to defend, but Kuminga is still young, and Kuminga it just takes time to develop. We're gonna talk about time in a minute, like shortly, but it takes time to develop. So we understand that Andrew Wiggins, I see how important he is to the Golden State Warriors, and I know that Golden State, and I think Golden State understands, they have no shot of winning without Andrew Wiggins. So with Andrew Wiggins coming back shortly before the playoffs, that is kind of a glimmer of hope. Now, yes, I understand you still have Steph Curry, you still have Klay Thompson, you still have Draymond Green, you still have Jordan Poole, and even without Andrew Wiggins, they have been still one of the best home teams in the NBA, and still one of the worst away teams in the NBA. Dante DiVincenzo has been really good. Gary Payton II is still really good at defending and ball hawking. We know what we're getting. You know what you're getting from this Golden State Warriors team at this point. But we kind of talked. We talked about this with we talked about this when we were talking about when we go over to the women's side, LSU and Iowa. No, LSU and who did they play before Iowa? Darn, because they were losing that game, dude. Virginia Tech. LSU and Virginia Tech. And I talked about momentum. And I said how important momentum is in the span of a basketball game. And how powerful and how dangerous it is, like momentum is to have, and how dangerous it is to lose. The same can be said about entering into the playoffs for basketball. Actually, for any sport. Your team wants to have good momentum entering into the playoffs. And while Golden State, they did have a bad loss against Denver the other day, without Nikola Jokic. I think, what's his name? Klay Thompson missed the game winner. you want to have good momentum going into the playoffs, especially when your team has struggled a lot this year. Well, struggled mightily this year on the road, and you understand what your team is capable of. But the reason why I'm talking about momentum is because it's very hard going into the playoffs without momentum. And it's not just with team, it's with players as well. Again, Andrew Wiggins has missed nearly 2 months and is missing the last 2 or 3 games of the regular season, meaning the next time that we see Andrew Wiggins step foot on the floor, it will either be in the A, play-in tournament, or B, playoffs. And it's one thing and that's one of the biggest reasons I talked about this with when Brooklyn had KD and Kyrie and James Harden. What they were trying to do is, because all 3 of them, they only played like 16 games together, I believe. All 3 of them didn't really play together. What they were trying to do was build momentum and build chemistry in the playoffs, and that is damn near impossible because you're going up against a team that more than likely has momentum and that has understanding about who is who and who is going to do what. So while you're trying to build something, you're going against a team that already knows who they are. So you don't have to worry. Like they're not focused on that. They're focused on beating you. Now, one thing that Golden State doesn't have to worry about is chemistry. Well, that is also a lie. Golden State does have to worry about chemistry because inserting Andrew Wiggins into the starting lineup changes the entire aspect of the team. Don't believe me? They inserted Gary Payton II back into the lineup, not even to start the lineup. That changed how many minutes Dante DiVincenzo gets, changed how many minutes Jonathan Kuminga gets. Now, I don't even think JaMychal Green, who was who was starting to catch fire from 3, he wasn't even in the lineup. So now a player like Jonathan Kuminga, a player like Dante DiVincenzo, a player like Gary Payton II, a player like Jordan Poole, all their time is going to change now that Andrew Wiggins is back. So now you have to redefine your role because you're probably going to get less minutes. You're probably going to get less touches. Your assignments are going to be different. And while this probably isn't, this is going to affect Steph Curry in a positive way. This is going to affect Klay Thompson in a positive way. This is going to affect someone like Draymond Green in a positive way. This is going to affect someone like Kevon Looney in a positive way. We have to see how it's going to affect the younger players or the bench players. Because again, Dante DiVincenzo, who has been solid for this team, isn't going to get as many minutes as he did without Andrew Wiggins. Gary Payton II, JaMychal Green may not even play anymore. Now you're looking what's going to happen with Anthony Lamb. He may not play. And that's another thing because the rosters and the rotations shrink in the playoffs. So while you may trust 10 players in the regular season, your rotation shrinks to 7, maybe 8. So think about that. Steph, Klay, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney. That's 5 people. Who are the other 3? Let's say, who are the other 3? Dante DiVincenzo, okay. Gary Payton II, okay. Jordan Poole, okay. So now what you're saying is Jonathan Kuminga, is he out the lineup? Now what you're saying is JaMychal Green, is he out the lineup? Because at that point, one thing that you didn't hear me say is a backup center. What happens with Anthony Lamb, who's played big minutes? He's definitely probably out the lineup. So all I'm saying is, while yes, I think Golden State's best shot of repeating and best shot of making a deep playoff run is predicated to how quickly it takes Andrew Wiggins to get back to form. Because again, it's very hard missing 2 months and your first action is in the playoffs or play-in. So I get it's going to be tough. But I also am curious to see how the team is going to fare and how the team, because one thing that you do not see is the whole deep roster thing doesn't really matter in the playoffs because again the rotation shrink. You want 7, maybe 8 players that you can trust. And I don't know. I think I'm very curious to see how Andrew Wiggins looks because Andrew Wiggins did miss some time in the regular season and came back, and he was not nearly close, at least offensively, where he was because it takes time. He was missing badly from 3. And that was one of the biggest one of the biggest reasons why they won outside of his defense, his ability to hit shots, his ability to get to the rim, his ability to shoot threes. Do not forget, Andrew Wiggins is still a number 1 overall pick for a reason. So I am interested to see how Golden State blends him back in. And I'm not saying that they can't do it. And it's for the veterans, it's not going to be tough because it doesn't really affect their minutes. Maybe Kevon Looney, but it doesn't really affect their minutes. Like Andrew Wiggins doesn't affect Clay or Steph's minutes. Maybe even Draymond. Maybe Draymond, but not that much. It's when you get to the Jordan Pooles, is when you get to the, Jonathan Kuminga, who has been improving and gotten better as the year has gone on. How does that affect them? It can affect them in a positive way. It can affect them in a negative way. I have no idea, but it's going to affect them some way, somehow. So maybe could be for the better, could be for the worse. I don't know. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.